So if you pull out ETH, then it's all going to come crumbling down. But if you remove Arbitrum or,
yeah, that makes sense. That's what you're saying. It's the foundation that it's built on, so you build on top, and then you go, okay, I like that. I'm switching in my brain now.
Okay.
Once again, that indicator is the MVPRSVPRV. So if you're looking for it, just type that into MVPRSVP and you'll pop right up. All right, everybody, let's talk about the main story here and the main trend that we see emerging. Nick, do you see this trend emerging?
I do.
Are you ready? I'll give you the alpha. What is the trend? What's the next trend? We had AI. We had memes. I need to find the next trend so I can make some money with my crypto portfolio. Nick, what are we looking at right now?
We are looking at layer trace.
Layer trace, everybody. This might, now I'm not going to say, hey, every layer 3 is going to do 300% over the next 60 days. I'm not saying that. We're seeing early signs, early rumblings, like a hungry tummy, early rumblings that this is where the money's heading. This is where the attention's going. This is where the VCs want to put their attention. And that means bullish price action, everybody. All right, chat's getting excited, everybody. Between these, let's go. Go, Carol, and that was a good one. All right, Arbitrum, ZK Sync, Starknet, Polygon to derive revenue from L3s. We have L1s, under L2s, or under L1s, we have L2s. And it makes sense, under L2s. I guess we go to L3s, right?
Well, are they under or are they on top?
Oh, I don't know.
I feel like
I want to call it LCs.
Power bottom. I feel like it's a Jenga tower. Like, this is, so if you pull out ETH, then it's all going to come crumbling down. But if you remove Arbitrum or,
yeah, that makes sense. That's what you're saying. It's the foundation that it's built on, so you build on top, and then you go, okay, I like that. I'm switching in my brain now.
Okay.
All right, you give DZ new info, and it's good. Sometimes I've been known to change my mind.
Wait. You change your mind when new information has been presented?
You don't know what you're talking about. I never change my mind.
You sound like some sort of wishy-washy cuck.
I'm digging my heels, and I'm a flip-flopper like
never
John
change
Kerry.
your mind, ever.
All right. Well, let's change the topic over here. Talk about L3s with several layer 3 blockchain servicing. Masari is detailing how L2 blockchains intend to derive value. L2 blockchains like Arbitrum, ZK Sync, Starknet, and Polygon hope to derive revenue from using their platforms as a deployment layer for L3. L2 was designed to solve the problems on L1s, and it looks like, L3 is going to design the problems or fix the problems on L2. But in the ever-changing, ever-evolving crypto world, change development is constant. Hence, L3s emerged to solve some of the problems associated with L2s. Also, they'll allow users to create dedicated chains and customize their privacy, fee, token, permission, governance, etc. The report also compared the L2 business models and effectiveness, while Arbitrum, ZK Sync, and Starknet averaged decent performances. Optimism Superchain is ranked as the best. Although when it comes to value capture, Optimism Superchain comes behind other blockchains, with Arbitrum's Orbit in the lead. And it's important to know that Masari report is based on data from April of 2023. And it's also important to know he neglected to mention Cardano once in 2021 and championed FTT as a good token. So hey, just we're trying to keep Ryan Selkis, 2-bit idiot, on his toes here. That being said, if he ran for Senate, I'd vote for him in a second.
Yeah, he's a solid crypto
he's
Twitter.
Solid. He's solid. He's came around. He's talked to Charles Hoskinson. He's came around a little bit. All right, blockchain layers L0, L1, L2, and L trace in a diagram here. Let's start at the bottom. L0. This these chains are going to talk to other blockchains. That's kind of the promise that they have there. Polkadot, Avalanche, Cosmos. I guess they're saying Cardano is, Cardano was, what do they label themselves as? They're the first third gen L1. That's how they label themselves. It looks like they're trying to label them as the layer 0. But I know IOG, they label, they're the first third gen L1. That's how they say it. I mean, for the Ocho, 8 minute, hey man, 8 minute abs. What about 7 minute abs? Have you thought about that?
Chaos.
All right. That's ridiculous. You never do it in 7
That's
minutes.
impossible.
It's
It's mathematically impossible to have 7 minute abs.
Have to have 8. All right. Above layer 0, we have layer 1. Layer 1 is going to be Binance Smart Chain, Ethereum, CeLo, Solana. These are layer 1s. And then above layer 1s, we have layer 2s. Optimism, Starknet, Polygon, Arbitrum. If you got into layer 2s at the beginning of the L2 bubble, you're looking great. You're doing fantastic. Maybe not some of the newer coins, but some of these older ones for sure you're up. Now we have layer 3s. These are, they're calling them the apps or the dApps. Decentraland is being called a layer 3. CryptoKitties, the first OG NFTs on the Ethereum blockchain. MakerDAO and Uniswap being called layer 3s here. Now, the ground floor, this is where the internet hardware connections exist that allow layer 1s like Bitcoin to run smoothly. Here we have layer 0s are allowing several things to happen. We talked about those. These are going to be the things that allow blockchains to interact with each other, cheaper, faster infrastructure. L1s are going to be the process of finalized transactions layer. L2 is going to make it a little bit easier using conjunctions with layer 1s to increase scalability in transactions per second. Think about this. I'm going to bundle up a whole bunch of Bitcoin transactions. I'm going to wrap it up with some Lightning, and then I'm going to do 1,000 transactions as one Bitcoin transaction. So it's bundling up, and then it's helping just increase scalability and transactions per second. Now we have the L3. This is the application layer. This is the UI that we as consumers actually interact with. This is going to be the mass adoption level. We need friendly dApps. We can't just convince grandma to write down the seed phrase. Okay, you can't just go to your neighbor and bully them into downloading a Bitcoin wallet. Sure, maybe you bully them into it. You twist their arm. They download the wallet because they're scared, they're shaking, they're like a chihuahua, they're about to pee. But when they go in their room, you know what they're going to do? They're going to say they're never going to open it. Why? Because it's confusing. It's weird. It's scary. I lose everything if I don't write these words down. Someone could steal my words and steal all my money. This is it's frightening. It is frightening to normies or frightening to retail or frightening to someone who's never been self-sovereign.
Hey, DZ.
Yes.
Would you say something like Vumio or OpenSea is a L3 if they're putting Uniswap down as a L3?
Yeah, I would say Vumio and OpenSea. I would get OpenSea now. It looks like they don't really distinguish any kind of layers of decentralization there. So yeah, I would say anything that onboards users with any kind of app or dApp would be considered an L3. So yeah, shout out to Vumio coming soon. We got some huge news. I can't wait to share it with you folks. But Uniswap, this is going to be the adoption method. It's going to be the killer app. I remember in video games, new consoles coming out all the time. Xbox was new on the scene. Nobody could survive without killer dApps, is what they called it at the time, or killer apps at the time. So Halo is what propelled Xbox to the next level. Super Mario is what propelled Nintendo to the next level. We need killer apps to propel crypto to the next level. OpenSea did a good job. OpenSea did a great job. Immutable X did a great job. Let's see. Uniswap did a great job until, I remember trading on Uniswap early on, and then gas hit, $50, $100. That's when I kind of took a step back and then, dive back in. So this is going to be what gets everybody excited about crypto. What is that app going to be? Maybe you at home can invent it. Maybe Nick invents it.